So I think what I sat with this kind of like all not all day, but for a little bit, and what kind of happened was I felt like I was having trouble like just talking and just like presenting because I didn't feel I didn't see anybody's face. I didn't feel like a connection with anything. And I'm like, there was nobody talking back to me, and I couldn't fix anything. There's nothing to talk to, there's nothing to fix. So I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm like, shoot, well, what am I trying to fix? Well, there's something in here. Like if
Mm.
I'm looking for something to fix, there's no farther than that you have to look than you. All you have to
Yeah.
do is be honest with it,
Yeah.
right? And this is what I teach people. It's like, oh, so what do I? Oh, just do you. Oh, and it's it's such a great thing that something like that can happen for like it's more special to me that something like that can happen rather than me try and plan something. Because if I'm
Mm.
planning something, believe me, I'm sticking to the plan, right? And that thing doesn't happen. And
No,
when
when
the
really authentic and it comes out and it turns out really good. Yeah.
yeah,
It does. Yeah.
yeah. So and yeah, I love how that works out. I love being the example. I love being the permission because I haven't given myself a lot of permission to feel my own feelings,
Mm.
up until recently, up until I learned it, and
Mm.
that forgiveness, and that's there's
Yeah.
so much.
Really
Yeah,
acknowledging what you feel, and it's so important. Yeah. Everything
yeah,
made so sense what you were saying, okay, this
yeah,
morning. Yeah. Happy for you.
cool. Well, thank you, and I'm glad that people like you were there, and people just people got something out of it.
Mm.
I saw somebody kept leaving and coming back and this and that, um, and that was all cool and stuff. But I just it was it's always like it's nice to be here now. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Um, it's nice to just
Be in the moment. That's what you say, but practicing it, really practicing
right.
it.
And a lot of times, what I feel like we're worried about is we're worried about the way we're going to feel in the future. But what if this
Mm.
happens? Then I'll feel like this. And then we block that. Well, what if this happens? Then I feel like this. Well, what if this? And we sit there and we look for this thing to worry about. Right. And then when the worry just shows up in us and we're trying to have a conversation with somebody, we're trying to be real about something, and we're trying to do we take that and just give it away, and we don't have to. Could you imagine a society, a world of individuals that when those feelings show up, instead of going and fighting and using revenge and hate and racism and greed and competition to satisfy that thing, a society of people, a
Mm-hmm.
whole society, individual sovereignty this is what I'm referring to. That we all deal with it, and we have rules, and but not rulers, right? We follow certain known things. That's what we normally follow anyway. Until somebody says you can't park there, you can't do that. That's not right. That guy said that this you can't be in that spot at that time at this between 2 a.m. and breathe,
Yeah.
breathe, and it's so beautiful. We're a people. I was a person, like I was in a body that did not want to appreciate what was happening inside of it. Did not want to appreciate emotions. It did not want to appreciate sadness. It did not want to appreciate happiness. I block
mm,
happiness. How many times, if I'm not sure, like, have you ever noticed yourself? Have you ever been aware of yourself blocking your own happiness? Oh, I can't think like that. That hasn't happened yet. But when I get there, I'll feel happy. Hmm. Am I really blocking a happy feeling because my ego thinks that I don't have that thing? That
mm,
happiness showed up for me. God gave me that happiness. Thank you, God. Let me enjoy that. I'm just okay. Let it think about the thing. So the worrier shows up and says, you know what? If we're happy, something dangerous is going to happen, right? The old like I was taught Catholic. If something, if things are too good, right? If there's something bad is on it, and that's all bullshit. If you're on a string of yes, 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 like something that's just it's there is no too good, but
mm.
in that there's also no too bad because we are here to experience it all. But we keep by blocking ourselves from the bad, we're blocking ourselves from the good, and
Yeah.
vice versa.
And then trying to please others, and then
Right.
that all those distractions. What one really wants to do, and then people just get distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would my mom do? What would my mom tell me to do? What would Coach, Simpson tell me to do? What would this person tell me? And the truth of who we are is right in the moment.
Hmm.
But the mind, the ego, the mental construct, it
Hmm.
creates all of these people. Well, what did they? I trusted them once,
Hmm.
right? I trusted my mom when I was 7, and she told me that to put a band-aid on it, and it worked. But now life is asking all of us to trust ourselves. And it's not what would that person do? What did I learn? What knowledge
Hmm.
did I now it's time to experience. You can't go a day in this life without experiencing something you didn't expect to experience right now.
Yeah.
That is by design. That is the universe. That is by design. Say, hey, wake up. Wake up. You are here. You experience this planet. You don't have to torch it to enjoy it. Experience these emotions.
Yes.
Here, I'm going to show you, and I'm just going to use the word evil, just in relative of what we know versus good versus evil. Okay. But I am going to show you the possibility of all of this evil, the child trafficking, the communism, the death, the vaccines, the this, the that. And that is here. Um, so life is showing, I'm going to show you all of this stuff on the outside of you, all of the injustice. And now it's not 10,000 miles away anymore because now it's coming in your backyard. Those Nike shoes that made by those, you're like, the life has given us a chance to see all this. And we've chosen because they're over there or like they're not us. Like people in China are not us energetically. We've allowed the narrative to separate us, and that's okay. That's part where we can be programmed.
Hmm.
And now life is showing us all of what we have been ignoring,
Yeah.
showing us what we would consider dark, and that's okay. Because what happens when you ignore something? It's gonna come. It's not karma. It's not even personal. God's
Hmm.
not personal, right? Ego's personal. The universe isn't personal.
Ego
Ego is
is.
personal.
Ego is.
Right. So as life shows us all of this, what happens in your body? As life shows you all of this stuff on the outside of you, what happens in our bodies? we feel the sensations we've been ignoring.
Yeah.
I've I've seen so much of myself this year. So much. When this started happening, when all this started happening, I was like, oh shit. I'm gonna go meditate for 3 hours right now. And then the next day I did it. Like not right now, but I did it. I'm gonna when
Mm-hmm.
I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna meditate for 3 hours. And I did it for 100 days after that.
Wow. In
Every
continuation.
morning, every morning, rise, meditate, or rise RPM, rise, pee pee, meditate. I wake up, use the restroom, and I meditate for
Mm-hmm.
3 consecutive hours. I would just set the timer. I wouldn't look on Facebook or anything like that. I wouldn't check my. The only thing I would do on my phone is just set the timer for 3 hours. I would just sit there because I didn't feel like this was something that I was going to understand from him. I had healed. My body had healed from a 2 weeks to live prognosis back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God, thank God.
It's good.
So the first,
It's good you
yeah,
can
thank you.
express and you can share. So, does your book talk lot about this?
It talks, yes, it does talk about this.
Mm.
Um, and it talks about what we're talking about right now. And hopefully you got to download it. For you it'd be Amazon.ca. It's free today. I don't know if you know that. The book is free to
Yes, I
download.
heard you say, but I haven't downloaded yet.
Okay.
So I
So
go
for
on
you,
Amazon.
Amazon.ca and just type in my name.
Okay, I will. I will.
Okay. So shoot, what was I saying? um,
You're talking about that how you did meditation
oh yeah,
like
the
every.
3 hours. I knew that this wasn't something that my I felt. I didn't know. I don't know anything. I feel. I'm learning to
Hmm.
feel my way through things. And I felt that this wasn't something that I was gonna understand through my brain, like that my the mental construct, my filter,
Mm-hmm.
the Neil first filter, right?
Hmm.
So my big idea, my highest calling, I won't say my big idea, the highest calling I felt was to start meditating for 3 hours a day. And sure enough, the second that they said masks, I went, holy shit. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
The friend about whom I was talking, I said that she could be joining. I don't know, she's not here. And she said when she was listening to you, she could feel like she's also into meditation and she could feel the good energies, like all from you. Like she felt it so strong, she said.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's awesome.
Like,
Tell her thank you. That's so like that's powerful for me to know. That's powerful for me to feel.
hmm.
I actually I did a session, a couple sessions with I don't know if you know who Kyle Cease is.
I
Kyle
haven't
Cease
read
was
about him.
okay. He was a comedian and now he's a transformational coach and so he is so authentic, so powerful, so God, yeah,
Good, good,
yeah.
good.
So and understand and I'm just going to give you and because Nanette's here and if Nanette doesn't know why the presenter's crying a couple times
No, no, no.
um
Yeah, I totally understand. The emotions are coming, and the emotions are also of happiness. You know.
yes, absolutely,
Yes.
and it's acknowledgement. I
Yes.
phoned into the waiting room and I was talking about also Nanette is here too. There's four of us now. So yeah, the like when I believe that the body needs to cry just like it needs to fart. Okay, we have we have held programs that keep us from letting our body express itself. And after 40 years of holding this stuff down, it just shows up, and it it always shows up when I'm telling the truth, right? Because it's gratitude. So it's like right now, my body is just is is it's just expressing gratitude, and even though it's coming out through my eyes a little bit, and it feels like I'm choked up, this is a release, and this is something that we are like, we're programmed, we're encouraged to ignore this, right? With our addictions, with medication, we're encouraged to don't cry, don't feel. It'll just wait. You wait till later. We'll discuss about it. We're encouraged to ignore this, and we don't have anybody to explain it to us. So for me to make myself wrong for crying now and just that would be criminal to myself. And it really, as much as I value um, your opinion, other people's opinions and stuff like that, that's one that until you know, until you understand, you won't understand. Does that make sense? And it really is a beautiful part of what we get to be, because when we release, when we allow ourselves to stop and just fucking feel, just feel what's inside and stop running from it. Well, I don't want to feel that way. Who is I anyway? Who doesn't want to feel that way? Who inside of us doesn't want to feel that way? And when we say, well, I don't want to feel that way, so I'm going to go drinking, or I'm going to go have a cigarette, or I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. I don't want to feel that way is an argument with reality. It's, yeah, this thing is here. I'm at the door, but I can't go through because I don't want to, you know, I'm arguing with reality. This thing is here. I feel this way and I don't want to feel this way. I feel this way and I don't want to feel this way. Well, if we listen, stop and listen, and even outside of a practice of meditation or just self-reflection, walks in nature, there's all sorts of ways to do this. Just holding hands with somebody, whatever. Like, you can sit there and just hold hands with somebody and actually feel the power in that, and just not speaking and just feeling and allowing this stuff to run through our bodies, and not carry it around and not give it away as negativity to our environment. Holy shit, is that power? I mean, so yeah, crying is absolutely I don't want to say mandatory, but it's one of those things that when you learn it, the thing that stops you is the maybe the parent or the friend that called you a baby. You know what I'm saying? So to cry through that is transcending it. That is true growth. Like, when you stand up to yourself, and I'm not talking like in a mean way, or being a dickhead to yourself. This is self-love. Hey, we shouldn't cry. We shouldn't show our like. Well, what if that those tears? What if those tears that are showing up in whatever moment that you are in? What if that's a 3-year-old version of yourself that stored something that we didn't understand, or a 4-year-old version, or five, however old you were, right? And you'll notice, like, the more protective it gets, probably the older it is, it gets to be that teenager that made that decision, right? That 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 person that we created inside of ourselves to protect that us from feeling that feeling that we didn't know what it meant when we were 3 or 5 years old. So I'm gonna let me re-explain this real quick, just to make it a little bit simpler, because I feel like I'm going a little, uh, I want to center it here. Actually, you know what? Everybody take a deep breath with me. Take a few deep breaths. Just two, three, four. We're gonna do this for about 30 seconds. Okay. Just let it go. You could breathe through your nose. I'm doing my mouth for the sound effect. Okay. Cool. And you can continue to do whatever you want. In the last session, I explained the kindergarten mentality, which is just, if you remember when you were in kindergarten, you were open to everything. You were open to new suggestions and new ideas, and they didn't mean that you had to change who you were to accept them. You don't have to accept, like, take any of this as truth to you. And take what you want, take what feels good, and leave the rest for God, for somebody else. Leave the rest for me. That's the only way to be on your path. That's the way to be true to you, right? It's not what Neil says. Whatever I say is a guide, is a pointer. If it resonates, cool. If it doesn't, okay, go to the oh great, that's an aha thing, right? And then we can explore that in ourselves. So, but so imagine that when a sensation shows up in your body, that maybe it's a 3-year-old version of yourself or a 5-year-old version of yourself, okay, that's just completely innocent. Or use your own children, or somebody you hold dear. Imagine that thing that shows up in your body is a very scared 5-year-old version of yourself. And it comes up and it says, Neil, I'm scared, right? And I think of it the old way, like, oh shit, I'm scared. I don't want to feel this fear. I'm scared about I'm gonna lose a relationship, or I'm scared about this job, or I'm scared about this, and I'm gonna assign blame to it, right? That's the way that we kind of handle it, and then we try and make ourselves feel better situationally. Well, what if that fear, right? Instead of assigning blame to whatever we want to assign blame to, what if that fear that showed up was a 5-year-old version of ourselves that just didn't know what to do with it, right? Instead of saying, you know what, I hate being scared, right? Because what would that do? Well, that would tell that 5-year-old version of yourself that I hate you, right? I hate being scared. I hate feeling guilty. I hate feeling this way. I hate feeling that way. That would be like telling your children, I like if you said, Mommy, Daddy, I'm scared. I feel guilty. What would you do? You're gonna hold them. You're going to love them. You're gonna love the fear out of your child until your child isn't scared anymore. You don't need to rationalize it, right? A lot of times, if your kids ever woken up from a dream, right? You didn't try and rationalize the dream with them. You just held them because they were scared or they were frightened. If they were you had a nightmare, right? So imagine that the sensation in your body is a little you having a nightmare. This is not an analogy that I've used before, so this is showing up fresh here. So if you can just let that fear be there, and like let that sensation be there, say, yeah, you know what? It's okay to be scared. You don't need approval. You don't need anything else. We don't need to fix We don't need to fix the way you feel. It's okay to be scared. I don't need to medicate you. I don't need to uh, drink you away. I don't need to um, go have a cigarette. I don't need to use any type of addiction. I'm going to feel it and then feel it and acknowledge it and honor that it's you. It's 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 shining your light on your darkness. Because when darkness shows up, if we're afraid of our own fear, then how could we ever transcend it? Does that make sense? If we're afraid of the 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 thoughts we're going to think about the sensations in our body, how are we ever going to grow? How are we ever going to know what the truth is to us? If we treat those things as, well, I'm scared, I'm fearful, I'm guilt, I'm shameful, I'm angry, then it's like when anger shows up, we let it wear like a suit. We let it we would and then we would say I'm angry, and then we'd go be the Hulk. Right? I did a Hulk analogy. Bruce Banner and the turning into the Hulk. Right? Says don't make the Hulk angry. Right? But if you get Bruce Banner angry, he's the one that turns into the Hulk, and it's the Hulk figure that pretend that the Hulk is unchecked anger. Right? And once Bruce Banner gets angry, his anger, once it gets unchecked, it goes unchecked, then it turns into the Hulk, and it doesn't just affect him anymore. Then it affects everybody. And now it's contagious. So now if I'm if I let my stuff go unchecked, if I let my world, my the things that are happening in this body, if I let it convince my brain that something's wrong, or if I let it convince my or if I let my mind convince my body that everything's okay and that I should just ignore it, then I'm not doing any justice to anybody. I'm not doing any justice to you. I'm not doing any justice to me. All I'm doing is I'm following some narrative about the way I feel about what's going on in my body. So when I do meditation, I do meditation right here. Um, I meditate for 1 hour every morning, um, at least 1 hour every morning. And I don't have any specific process except to just sit and feel. It's just a sit and feel the bullshit, right? So if I'm sitting and feeling through the sensations that are happening in my body, and the sensations in my body are creating a certain narrative in my head, right? Of, oh, I'm going to fail at this, or I'm going to blame this, or I'm going to blame that, or whatever, right? And it's just creating more and more stress. The meditation allows me to let that stuff, like, get that stuff checked, right? And just understand that there's sensations in my body wanting to and the sensations in my body, my mind is trying to make them mean something, right? I use the example of, like, right at the top of my belly sometimes. right? If you've ever felt burning rage, where do you feel it, right? If you know where your burning rage comes from in your body, and you are someone who sits with and sits and feels and understands that these things don't have to mean blame or that something's wrong on the outside of us, but it's something that we can feel through and we can see through. We end up realizing that the problems in our life are only the ones that we create. And then we use the outside of us to blame all the problems for our life because that's the way ego works. Ego works on blame and well, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me. Does anybody want to would anybody like to come on and just kind of talk about anything maybe that you've been feeling stuck about, you've been feeling, I don't know, just something that uncertainty, fear, if you have anger that you don't know what to do, like if you're having trouble in relationships, whatever it is there anybody, because this and just so you, before you raise your hand and say yes, this this is all recorded and stuff, and I don't know what parts of it so that they're going to make public. So if you know, if I do want you to be aware of that at least. No, okay. Nobody's brave enough. Well, you're all brave enough. I want you to understand that. You're everybody is brave enough. Okay. Um, but sometimes something just doesn't align. And if it doesn't align with you, that is absolutely perfect. Okay. So the that convincer. So I would actually that's perfect. That's perfect that that convincer showed up. I want to just explain that real quick. The nobody's brave enough. I just caught that. Okay. Um, the way being aware of how we speak is God, that is so awesome. Um, but there was somebody that wanted to shame, like, oh, nobody's brave enough. That's like a form of shame, like shaming somebody into something. And I know that's not heavy. I know we joke like that. I know we use that. I know that's normal now. But as somebody who calls himself out on all of his bullshit or the bullshit that he sees, I would like to acknowledge that is nobody's brave enough. That's what that's like kind of kind of poking and kind of trying to get somebody to come out, like, you know, even though it can be harmless, it's still that thing. So, but if it and again, so I just want to, if it doesn't align with you, that is absolutely perfect. Um, has anybody heard of selfie therapy? You know what selfie
Sorry, can you
therapy is?
repeat what we heard about?
Selfie therapy.
No, I haven't.
No, okay. There's probably a reason. Hang on a second. So, okay, hang on. There it is. So in my book, I talk about it. Did you? Okay, cool. iPhone. I'm not sure what your name is, but selfie therapy is something that is a super crazy, awesome, useful tool to learn about the truth of what you are, like what you are telling yourself, how you are speaking to yourself, what the hell is coming out of your mouth, right? Am I making sense or am I making noise? So, selfie therapy, I'll tell you how I got onto it. Um, I was I had recovered from alcoholism. I had reversed the damage done that had made doctors give me a 2 weeks to live prognosis. And I knew I wanted to. I had some stuff to help, and I knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what. So I started, making videos. I wrote like a little 30-page book, and it turned into another book called "Recovered: The Cure for Alcoholism." And I started making YouTube videos, when I did it, I felt like I would take after take after take after take, and I would just like I do it for like 2 hours and then not make a video, and I just beat the shit out of myself. Why can't I do this? This is so stupid. You're never gonna do this. You can't help anybody. Blah, blah. And I just and I'm pouring on this negativity, and I just like and I know this about myself, right? And I became aware. I'm like, you know what? Let me keep making the video. Right? Let me just keep making the video, whether I post it or not. So I just started speaking honestly and authentically. And I just started speaking from my heart. And it didn't matter what I had to say. It didn't matter because nobody was judging me. I could allow the victim inside of me to speak his mind. I could allow the fear inside of me to speak its mind. If something thought it was situational, I can allow that, right? And it doesn't. And when you allow that, then it opens the door for the much better stuff, like to come up and come out of your mouth. So one of the ways that does this do you get what I'm talking about here? Does this make sense? Can you see how that would like it's it's just putting a phone in front of your face, putting a recording device. You could actually do this in the mirror too. And just start talking, right? And it's easier when nobody's around, absolutely, right? Because it but when you just start talking and you're gonna get through, like, you're gonna hear, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? If you hear that, say that. Oh, because the guy said so. Oh, and then it'll start coming up with all sorts of stuff of why you shouldn't be doing this. Or this is how it happened for me, at least. And I start speaking honestly about I'm just afraid, or I just feel unworthy. And what does it feel like to feel like an unworthy 5-year-old? Right? What are these emotions? Right? And anything that comes to my mind, I can just say it. If it's fuck you, I fucking hate you. It's like, that's okay. Cool. You got that out. And then when I look at the source of these words, if and I'm talking about when I'm in it, there's benefits to going back and watching this too, and I'm gonna explain that in a second. But if you can watch yourself, be honest with yourself. I'm not talking about like our likes and dislikes. I love that radio station, and that's my favorite color is red. I don't care what Tom says. No, 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 no. What's in my heart? If you don't know how to begin, like if there's something like if you can't get past the this is bullshit inside of you, I'm gonna check that out in a second, Roman. If you can't get past that this is bullshit, I put a sample video up on the website or on the Facebook feed. I call it the 20-minute holy shit transformation, where I did a selfie therapy video and I started off saying, I love you. 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 And I continued. And I had my hands and in video, I have my hands in the heart, on my heart. Okay. And I love doing this because I love you turns into so much more. Because a lot of us maybe we feel like we love ourselves, but we don't. We're like, can you say I love you to the camera and you like right now? Can you say I love and what does that feel like in your body? What does I love you? If I say I love you to me, what does that feel like in my body? What if my body responds, I like you? What if my body responds, you have great ideas? What if my body responds, I forgive you? And then all of a sudden, you have your body speaking this, and you're watching yourself do it. And if you don't agree on, hang on a second. Um, if if there's anything that you don't want to take, like if anything doesn't feel great, where does that feel? Where do you feel that in your body? Like what belief is that challenging? Right? If you want to take that as an opportunity to do something a little bit different, what beliefs are are challenging? Is it if what would be the fear against doing this, right? Like why not? And this is kind of where we have to stand up to our own fear. We have to stand up to that little thing that protects us by not doing this and say, hey, it's okay to say this stuff. It's okay to say it. And the truth comes out. The thing that you might have paid 5 years of therapy for, right? You talk to your phone for an hour, and I'm talking honest from the heart. You're talking to God. And My feeling is that each one of us are the same internally, and we're each having our own unique experience, but we're God experiencing God's self. This is my take on it. And the more authentic we are, the more we're able to speak from our bodies as God experiencing itself. The more we're authentic with that person we're talking to, and we know that it's us, we're like, whole, and this is my experience. Okay. I'm like, holy shit, God is talking through me. Every one of my clients, like I have certain things that I do, certain things that I like selfie therapy. I'm explaining it right now, but things show up differently energetically for each and every person that I talk to. One-on-ones with me are like, this is very quaint right now. There's only a few of us, so I feel like this feels like kind of like one-on-one right now. This is awesome. Um, if we could do groups like this, it's all like weekly or by month or whatever, I'd love this. This is awesome. Um, but there is a level of authenticity that as soon as we hit, there's another level of authenticity to reach. We're never bullshitting anybody on the outside of us. You can't lie to anybody but yourself. And if you like, and it's cool, like if you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. If you're trying to, absolutely, please think about that. Because if you're lying to me, you're the one that feels bad about it. You're the one that has to deal with all the emotions of the thing. Now there's we lie to other people so they won't see us. And when we lie to other people, that means we're not seeing us and we're not giving all of ourselves. Right. And I'm not saying that every bit of secret has to everybody has to know. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, inappropriate, whatever. But what I'm saying is that when we think we're lying to somebody else, we're really just lying to ourselves. The body doesn't understand that the other person doesn't know the truth. Your body understands that you're fudging lying. It has no idea that the other person's there. It just feels the lie. It's the same thing when we insult somebody. It just feels the insult. I can't even tell you how many tears I shed. That's why the oceans are salty, man. when I woke up to my own bullshit, and we're all waking up at our own perfect level right now. So if you think that you're behind, you're not. If you think that you're ahead, you're not. Um, but it's all here, all right now. I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought real quick. Um, Rahman, what was the? This happens sometimes. I got really passionate. I thought about something else. Um, what was I saying before, or Marcella, if you know, remember exactly what it was, what I was talking about? I know this is a feeling thing. It's
Yeah, it's a feeling thing. I agree. Yes.
okay. So yeah, lying to right. So yeah, okay. So
Sometimes when
so yeah,
when
other
you are lying to somebody or you are insulting, you feel that tension in the body. I agree with you are saying. Is I understand what you are saying. Yes, it's true. Is sometimes it's acknowledging this makes you to change. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a feeling that the other person they don't know or they can take it or not take it. But at the end is the damage that you have done on your own to
yeah,
yourself.
beautifully put. Beautifully put. Absolutely. Thank you. Um, so the body knows, okay? So, and I haven't explained selfie therapy like I'm about to yet either. So if the body knows that you're lying, right, to somebody else, right, but it doesn't know that that other person is there, it just knows that you're lying. The body knows when you're telling the truth. So in selfie therapy, there's nobody to lie to. There's nobody's feelings to spare. Do you get me? There's you don't have to spare, you don't have to dance around what you think what the ego, not you. The ego thinks the other person wants to hear. So now I am telling my body the truth, and now my body starts to get used to me telling the fucking truth.
Lovely. I think it's perfect. Yes, it's true. You cannot bullshit your body. Absolutely.
Right, right. So, um, something tangible. I remember in our discussions, that the participants wanted something tangible and selfie therapy. Absolutely. Plus the book too. If you download it, that's tangible. You get the whole thing, right? It's free too. Um, let's all take a deep breath. Let's do it 30 seconds. Just taking a deep breath. I love this. Where are we at? We're almost at an hour. Okay. Let's just take a deep breath. Is anybody's mind trying to convince their body of anything other than what's true right now? Just let it happen. Just let it all just exist. Let the mind do its thing and let the body do its thing. Whatever shows up in the body, and I know that we know this, I know that we hear this all the time, but just let it be okay. When I think of my experience versus what God is to this experience, the provider, who am I to complain about what's in my body right now? I'm here to transcend this shit. So what just showed up in me was to give you a fun tip that I have on a panic attack. And this is something that if it hasn't it happened, I've only needed to use it two, maybe three times because the first time was so powerful. Um, but I was super stressed out with something. I think it was about work or something, and Christmas bills, a bunch of stuff like that, and I just let my mind carry me away with all these stories. Oh, what if this happens? Oh shit, I gotta fix that. Oh, what if this happens? Oh, I gotta fix that. I gotta fix, and I'm fixing all of these things mentally that guess what aren't happening. Right. So here's me spinning plates and trying to fix all this and this and that, blah 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 blah. And if this resonates, when that happens, all of a sudden all that comes together, you're like, ah, and my heart started beating and I started sweating, my hands started getting clammy and stuff like that. And I was like, whew. So I got up and I was shaking. My heart was going a mile a minute. I got up and I sat in front of I got up from where I was and I went and I sat in front of the mirror. Well, I stood first. Um, but I looked directly in the mirror and said, I took a big deep breath and I said, I love you till death. Because at some point, I figured, what's my body trying to tell me? What's the worst that can happen to me out of this? The body dies and my consciousness goes back into the void? Cool. So I'm going to tell my body, I am going to tell my panicked, freaked out, holy shit, I got to get out of here body, I love you till death. And guess what? Boom. Cry, mofo, cry. Just cry it out. And I had, like I said, one or two panic attacks after that, and I did the same thing. And the effect wasn't like it didn't go. I didn't go because I didn't need to. Right? I recognized in the middle that holy cow! I went on a tangent. I'm telling myself all these stories. You know what, Neil? It's okay. I love you till death, man. And that was holy shit powerful. What is ever really that bad? What are we ever really running from? What? A story? A story from our past? Where somebody maybe stepped on us and now we have haters. We wanna, oh, we're wearing masks. Humanity's wearing masks. Do we know what we are anymore? Can we transcend what's happening right now through each of us individually? Could it really be that easy? And I think I said earlier that the tears show up when something is true. And that's true for me. Because the more I transcend what shows up for me, the more I don't give it to anybody else. The copious amounts of courage show up, copious amounts of bravery, copious amounts of abundance, copious amounts of love, peace, and gratitude. Because as God experiencing itself, I'm finally grateful. Because that is the truth of what I am. I'm experiencing it right now. It's not this, it's not that. I'm experiencing it with my other selves, with you right now. Nothing goes according to plan except one plan. If we all run around thinking that we have knowledge of that plan, calling everybody right and wrong for what they're doing, we're not flushing our own toilet, man. Flush your own toilet, right? That's individually, that's what we're doing here. That's how we're going to save the world. Not that the world needs saving. We're already free. It's just up to us to freaking recognize it. infinite and powerful and beautiful to every single one of us. You won't hear that in the fucking narrative. You won't hear that. But you feel it right now, don't you? You feel your freaking infinity right now, don't you? You know your power is here right now, don't you? And you know exactly how beautiful you are, don't you? That's why the universe let me higher beings come through me. That's why the universe let the symposium come through all of us. The presenters and the participants. Thank you, Arafat. Thank you, thank the universe, thank God for Arafat. Because without Arafat recognizing what was inside of him, this moment doesn't happen. And this moment is happening. And you all feel the power in this moment. We're not here to get love. We're made of love. We're here to share the love we're made of. And it's
I
fine to
feel
disagree with that.
I feel that whatever they have done is make us, we are, when we are born, we are a ball of love, and
Yeah.
we full of a lot of, we put a lot of skins at the end. What you are doing is helping us to unpeel those skins and come back to the ball of love that we were, because this is the pure love.
Yeah. It feels so good to keep it. Thank you. Thank you so much. That
Very
is
nice.
so beautiful. Doesn't it feel good to keep your power? Doesn't it feel good to feel your feelings? Because that's keeping your power, and that's what love is. Sure, it might feel like suffering to ego. Ego is a gift of ours too. It's not who we are. So I just thank you guys. Um, I okay, yeah, we're about an hour and 10 minutes. Um, do you guys want to talk? We can just keep talking. If anybody has anything to share, um, my heart is wide open. Um, yeah. So if anybody has anything to share, awesome. And or if you'd like to hear anything from me or a question,
Yeah, I think
go
there's
ahead.
always a time when the right energies they align together, like you just mentioned about how Arafat and all the participants here. So it's just the how the universe brings us together, at the right time and the right energies, and then we can
Yeah,
really feel that internal that energy of sharing. That's how I feel, like even like when you were talking, and I could feel that it's so the
awesome.
universe is really powerful when we have full faith how the
That is
things are,
that is
how the things go.
that is so beautiful. That is powerful. Come on. Thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you so much.
thank you. And you're welcome. Did you think I was a little crazy when I made that video that I don't prepare or that I'm not preparing for anything? Or did you see that or
I think it's you speak with your heart. So this is the most real. I think is it's fantastic. I think is an open discussion for the people that is now coming to this session that could have a different needs or could be. I think the universe has guided you to do in this way because we were here at this moment and we needed to hear you saying what you have said. If you were pre-preparing, probably was something that was not what we were least ready to hear. So I love
yeah,
this one. I think it was spontaneous and you speak with your heart. I love it.
thank
Yeah,
you.
love it.
Thank you.
Thank
Say
it's
go ahead.
powerful.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm glad I'm so honored that that you guys are here and I'm so glad that you feel that way. if it's possible, can we put this on YouTube at some point? Maybe we can do some editing. I know that if we can discuss it later, but if we get like a yes on video, that would be awesome. Then we don't have to like a thumbs up or something.
Yeah.
Then we don't have to. Okay, so Marcella, you're in. It needs to be all of us. So, um, or even iPhone. Even if we blur a face, I can blur a face, or maybe no. Okay, I can't. You're
It's
you're
okay.
muted. Okay,
It's okay.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome. And you shared a direct message with me. Do you want to do you want to discuss? Can we talk about that? And the reason I'm asking is that I want to be wide open, and especially when if somebody, well, again, if there's a direct message, I don't want to talk about the direct message if you don't want to talk about it. So you don't have to turn on the camera to turn on the microphone.
Hi, Neil. This is Harpa. I actually was very excited to listen to you. Uh, I do meditation on regular basis as well, and I
Uh-huh.
wanted to know your journey. How did you start it, and which whom do you follow? This was actually I would like to know about it.
Well, my thank you uh, for that question. Meditation was something that it's for something for inside of me. I always thought that there was some type of value to it, but I was always afraid to try it because of the thoughts and actions I was afraid to feel. Right? Because I would sit down and I'd be like, and I MF somebody in my head. I'd be like, oh God, I feel like that. I was afraid of my own stuff. And um, I think after a series of, just trying and failing, um, I the way I started to really get meditation was I just decided to do it my own way. Okay. And I knew that there were other ways to do it. I knew like the Buddha would sit up and stuff like that, but I just decided to do it my own way. And for me, what that meant was most of the time I would lay in my bed and wear headphones and listen to meditation music on YouTube. Okay. Um, YouTube just because it was free. Um, that was the easiest way for me to get to start meditating. I put my hands on my chest, to my side, just a small pillow under my head, not, just as comfortable as I can be, and just like let it be. And really started to learn my body. And then as I progressed, that's how I learned it. And just me doing that, me just doing it my own way. F everything else, right? It's just I'm meditating. That's where I realized the point is to just be with me. And as I started to learn, like as I realized, like, holy cow, doing the things that I did, I reversed a prognosis of the damage done that would make a doctor give me a 2 weeks to live prognosis. Holy cow. So then I wanted to learn about meditation. The first like the I immediately saw a YouTube video, like when after I got I went to the doctor and I got those fantastic test results. Um, I that night Joe Dispenza came across uh, came across my YouTube feed, and I watched a 45-minute video with him explaining um, how we think and feel and think, and how the cycle goes. And I'm like, holy cow, my heart just blew open. I'm like, holy, I resonated with it immediately. And I started following his teachings. And then Eckhart Tolle, or Tolle, however you want to say it, I started following his teaching. Like I learned a lot from Joe Dispenza, and then I just started following different teachers. Not not necessarily how to meditate, because we all have our certain way. My favorite is the sit and feel, but I learned like from Marissa Peer, Kyle Cease, Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, um, you know, teachings of Buddha, Jesus. It's just there's some people I don't know their names right now. I mean, things are escaping me. Um, or maybe they just don't need to be said. Maybe that's the truth of right now. Maybe that's the truth of the universe, is that what is coming out right now is just the only thing that's supposed to come out. But if you really, if you want to convince yourself of the science of what the meditation can do for the human body, Joe Dispenza. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joe Dispenza's story is like, listen to that first, and then you just be sucked in. It's almost impossible not to get sucked in to Joe Dispenza's work. Start there, and the universe just shows it to you. The universe, and that's what me saying about Joe Dispenza. The universe is just showing it to you through me, right? And then what you want shows up, right? Especially when we're looking to grow. Hey, universe, I'm looking to grow. What do you got? Slap in the face. It might be a slap in the face, or it might be a YouTube video. You don't know. But when you're looking to grow, especially when you're looking to grow, the universe is going to show up and say, "Hey, here's your growth. This is happening right now. I'm working on a project I wasn't a week ago, because I'm looking to grow, and I'm excited about it, and I'm gonna talk a lot about it soon. So yes, to answer your question, just Joe Dispenza, and just be looking to grow, and that stuff will show up. That stuff will show up, and um, you're welcome. And don't be afraid of your dark. When your darkest dark is here, that means your brightest light is ready to shine. Let yourself cry. The body needs to cry like it needs to fart, in my opinion. You don't have to take my opinion as the truth, but if it feels true in here, fart away. So, yeah, let's end it here. I feel good. Does everybody feel good? Yeah. No. But thank you so much. And again, you're welcome. Download this. It's free. I don't need you to pay for it. It's free. Amazon does that if you write a book. And just, I guess, if send me an email if you guys want to have a one-on-one talk. Awesome. If you guys want to have a one-on-one talk, you guys want to talk about more like what we can do together, how we can affect the planet more. I'm open to make some serious change, guys. All right. I love you. Mwah. Thank you
Love
so
you
much.
too.
I'm so
Thank you so
honored.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Really
So honored.
appreciate.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. God bless. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
Neil.
And
Bye.
thank you, and you're
Bye.
welcome.
Thanks from man as well.
Bye bye. Bye bye.